Hi, guys. Welcome to the Chelsea Skidmore Show. I'm here today with my guest actor, Mark O'Brien. Mark is currently right now in a movie that's out in theaters called Ready or Not, a scary movie on a Showtime show, City,
On
the Hill.
Hill. Yeah.
Was that your watch?
No. Oh, it was. How did you hear that?
You didn't hear that?
No. Maybe I'm just not. I'm just so used to
Wait,
it.
I'm more shocked that you have a watch.
I love watches. I hate Apple Watches.
No, no one likes it.
I hate them because they all are the same style. Like I'm like, there's no style to
It's
this.
weird how so many people have them.
Yeah, I think it's really weird, and I also think it's weird when people start answering stuff on them because I still just think it's a watch. I'm like, why are you staring at the time for so long?
Yeah.
They're like looking at emails.
Yeah.
don't we
It's like,
look at
how
it?
badly can't you just look at your fucking phone?
I know how. Like, I remember getting home from somewhere and being like, "Oh, I can't wait to check my email."
Yes,
like,
AOL.
I'd be like, maybe I got an audition, like, or whatever the fuck it
Uh-huh.
was. And then, by the way, can I curse?
Of course.
Oh my god, good. So you're like, whatever the fuck it is, I can't wait to check my email. And just like now, when you're away from your phone for like an hour, you're like, oh my god, can't wait to check it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, yeah, it's on your fucking phone. Like, give me a break. Like, it's so we all look. I look at my phone every 5 minutes.
What was your AOL screen name?
I didn't do AOL.
Really?
I'm from Canada. Maybe that changed it. I remember like ICQ and I had Messenger.
What is ICQ?
What is ICQ?
I've never heard of that.
It was before MSN Messenger.
Okay.
Do you know MSN
What kind of
Messenger?
computer did you have?
It was a desktop. It was a Microsoft.
A Microsoft.
I was born in '84, so this is like
Okay,
going
I'm
back.
87.
Okay, so we're
So
around the same time.
Okay.
I can't.
So I had the same equipment.
So MSN Messenger though, you had that.
I had AIM. I was an AOL person.
Oh, okay.
So
So
is
this is
that-
different. I was in Canada. It wasn't AOL.
Oh, cause so you had you had the Apple computer.
No, no. It was like I had Windows, like Windows 95. Was
Okay,
that a
that's
thing?
Microsoft. Okay. I
That's
used to really
Microsoft.
love computers. Have you seen Hackers?
No, like the old Angelina Jolie movie?
Yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was obsessed with that movie growing up, like in middle school, and then
Yeah.
I thought I was a hacker, so I got really into computers.
I was
That's just that.
I was Who's the guy in it?
Johnny Lee Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller and
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie. I remember, when you see I saw her in that, I was like, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And then when she got really famous and everyone was like, "Oh, Angelina Jolie," I was like, I saw her first. Like I knew she was pretty before you guys did.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that doesn't hold up.
What?
Hackers.
Oh, it does.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I'll give it a rewatch.
yeah.
I'm very curious.
It does. I've rewatched it a bunch of times.
But Microsoft, I guess, was Windows. I don't know enough about computers. And I remember Windows 98 came out. That was like
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
And then Windows XP.
I feel like it's been Windows 98 the whole time.
I'm pretty sure it is. Like, when you go to like DMVs or like wherever and they're never using a Mac, I always picture it's like, when you go to like
Yeah.
any kind of administrative thing, you
Yes.
get some bullshit signed or something. I always feel like they never use Macs. And I always picture them using Windows 98.
That's true, and because they do have that old look.
Yeah, and they always take forever.
And you can hear when you hear the keyboard, it's an old computer.
Yeah, and they're always punching in so many things. I'm like, what the fuck? Just put in my birthday.
Yeah.
May 7th, 84. Like, what are you typing?
Yeah.
Or another one. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent
No,
now. I'm just
I'm-
thinking about all this stuff. And when you go to a grocery store and like a cashier like changes out for the other cashier, and she's like, "Oh, just a second." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then she's like types on that thing for like a half an hour. I'm like, "How hard is it
At
to
a
sign
grocery
in?"
store?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Or
I
when
think
they're
they just have the little boop
Oh.
that's on there. Doot.
I've seen them. I see what you mean. But they do that for a while. Or when you put fruit down or something. I'm like, avocado. And then they're like,
The PLU is
yeah.
called.
The PLO.
I worked at a supermarket for like a week when I was 16.
Wow,
I got
why?
fired.
What'd you do?
I went there on mushrooms.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then they're like, something's off about you. I don't think you should work here.
They're like, you're doing a lot
I
better today.
I was like, yeah.
I worked at a grocery store too. I used to have to go get the carts
yeah.
in the parking lot. And I was not also in the right frame of mind every single day I worked there for a year. And my favorite thing was it was always so hot outside because I started like just as it got hot out. So the first like 5 months I worked there was always really warm. And I used to love going into the big freezer room with all like the meat and stuff. And I just sit there by myself
Yeah.
because it was just like so cooling and like
And then
nice.
you found a dead body.
Then I found a dead body that I had put there the day before. So I checked up on a dead body. I should
So,
say.
you grew up in Canada.
Canada, yeah. So a place called Newfoundland.
Okay.
Uh,
Newfoundland,
Land.
Newfoundland. Is this a big
It's
conversation you have with a lot of people?
it's massive. Not with people from there because we know how to pronounce it, but
Yeah.
with everyone else, everyone says Newfoundland,
Newfoundland.
but it's Newfoundland. So the land is
Newfoundland?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. No one does.
Or Newfoundland. Isn't there a dog from there?
Yeah, the Newfoundland dog.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing? Is that the number one? Is that the second conversation?
It's in the top 4. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're hitting the top ones. And then the other thing people always say is, oh yeah, that's like Halifax. I'm like, well, it's not like Halifax. That's like saying like L.A. is like Missouri. It's
Okay.
just a different place altogether. But it's on the East Coast, so people think they relate it to that.
How? Okay.
So
Yeah, do a little geography
Okay,
lesson,
so-
which happens, by the way, on every episode of
Right.
this podcast because I don't understand geography,
okay,
and
so
I'm okay with it.
it is. I can see that. It's on the exact opposite end of North America from LA. We're on the northeast coast, like closer to Iceland.
Whoa, that's up there too.
Like a yeah, we're learning
Very
something today.
good.
Antarctica is north of that.
Oh my god.
This is Earth. And then and then within that, there are places, countries,
yeah.
and Canada is above us. And then it's all happening.
Oh my god.
But it's like Newfoundland's like a 3.5-hour flight from Dublin. Like that's how far east it is.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really far. But it's beautiful and it's amazing and everyone there is really
What
cool.
does it look like?
It looks just like this recording studio.
No way.
Yeah, it's weird. There's no outside there.
Is it rural? Is it?
It's pretty rural.
it
There's a 500,000
water?
people.
Is
It is made of water. It's a
Is it
marshland.
water? Wow. By the way, I just want to make a point to say you're not going to get sick, but I have been homesick for 2 days. Can that explain me just saying, is it water?
To a degree. But you said is it water really curiously. Like you actually were asking if it's a marshland.
Oh my god.
It
There's
is
another term I don't know.
it is an island.
Okay. Oh, it's an island.
It's an island and there are many islands within that island.
Mm-hmm.
And there are about 500,000 people there, and it kind of looks like how you'd picture, like the coasts of like Ireland.
Oh, it sounds
Or is it-
beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, like rolling hills, a lot of hills and rock and beautiful scenery.
Let's get another adjective. Rolling hills. What?
Rolling
and then just
hills.
rock.
And rock. Yeah, rolling hills and rock.
Precious rock.
Precious rock. Fine metals.
Yes, yes.
This is fucking so bad.
So
And
were-
people of all type gathering.
what struck me about you saying it was does it get really hot there for 5 months? Because I noticed you said that about this when you were talking about being in the parking lot, and then I was like, where the fuck is this?
No, I just think I had a high body temperature at the time. It doesn't get. It gets really cold in the winter.
As it does.
It's not as good. It's not as cold as like New York or something like that.
Okay.
People think there's a lot of snow, a lot of rain. So picture like England, but with snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're born there, grew up there.
Yeah, I grew up there. I lived there till I was 23. Then moved to Toronto.
Why Toronto?
Because I was at like St. John's is the capital of Newfoundland. There's like 120,000 people there, and everybody there is an artist. to some degree.
Really?
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Everyone?
Like
It's like the San Francisco of Canada.
it is the San Francisco
Does
of
anyone
Canada.
say that too?
No, but now they will. Everybody is like a musician or a filmmaker, and a lot of things get
Wow.
shot there because it's so distinct looking. So it kind of like can double for a lot of interesting places. And
Like European cities.
yeah, and stuff like that, and it's just so specific looking. So and people there are really talented. So I grew up like in that. Well, I started when I was like 19, but I was like acting in theater all the time there, and I did a couple movies there and stuff like that. I hosted a kids show.
Really? What kind of
Yeah.
kid show?
It was like in between commercials, and I had to come on like talk to the cameras, ages 0 to 5. And I
Wow.
was like, "Hey guys, it's me,
What was your name in it?
Mark."
Oh.
And it was and then we did like a half-hour offshoot show of that, but it was
Wait,
yeah.
I'm not done with this. Hey guys, it's me, Mark. And then what? Was there like a
And-
lesson or I was actually
yeah.
I started watching the Mr. Rogers doc yesterday.
Oh yeah, right.
But I stopped watching it after like 10 minutes.
Why?
I just wasn't feeling it. Everyone said it was so good. I gotta continue watching it.
Apparently, everyone's like crying at the end. I
I
didn't
know.
watch
Everyone
it.
said it was so good.
I feel like I was like, I already seen this show. What's going on? I already.
I grew up watching it.
Yeah, I'm like, I already know. He's a
That's
nice
what I
guy.
just thought of though when you said that
No,
because
anything
he
but.
focused on a really young age group. I noticed.
Yes. I was like, I was very excitable on the show. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
hey guys, it's me, Mark. Today we're going to learn how to build a guitar.
Yeah.
Not that advanced. It was more like we're going to color a picture. But
How old were you when you did
I was
that?
19 till
Okay.
I was like 21. I did it for like 2 years.
Mhm.
And it was great, and like we go. You have no inhibitions after doing something like that. After you like
Mhm.
dance like a turkey in front of 800 kids,
And then teach someone how to trace one with a hand.
exactly.
Yeah.
You learn patience, and you learn like I don't give a fuck. Like if I look stupid doing something,
Mhm.
but it was a very interesting time. And I remember the funniest thing that happened was I was doing it. I worked with this producer, and what we do is we'd film these segments where there'd be like 5 or 6 people in a room, including the producer and a cameraman, a sound guy, and maybe like 1 or 2 other people. And I would look straight into camera, and I would do like happy birthdays for kids. That was one of the segments we did.
That's vulnerable.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and so they'd send in weeks in advance. Parents would send in like a drawing from like their son Timmy,
Mhm.
and then I'd be like, "Hey, Timmy drew a cow. Happy birthday, Timmy!" So we'd obviously film them in advance, and then they would air. And I remember one time the producer who I worked with, and it was Victoria. We were like sitting there, and she was like, "Oh, I just got an email from like the brass, like of the network of the kids department, saying that you cursed on an episode." And I was like, cursed? Like, it's not live. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, I wouldn't curse. I'm not an idiot. And also, wouldn't someone have picked that up? And then they were like, so we were like, no, no, no. And I saw it, and I was like, no, there must be a mistake. And they were like, no, 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 look at this episode. It's only 90 seconds of me doing these birthdays. And in one of them, I guess, like, I was just on autopilot, and I didn't want to be doing it after a certain point. And
Yeah.
I'd passed that point now. And I was like, reading it and, like, showing these pictures. I'm like, hey, look, Billy drew a tree and a horse. Happy birthday, Billy. Billy's 4. And I was like, hey, look, there's a picture from Jeremy. Jeremy drew, like, a sun and a moon, and that's great shit, Jeremy. And just kept going, and I didn't notice. No one noticed because my intention was not. I was really encouraging, but like I'm like nobody saw, and then it aired, and I was like, I gotta get out of this job.
Yeah.
I'm on autopilot.
Yeah. So you quit before they could fire you?
No, they didn't fire me, but then they didn't renew my contract,
Mhm.
and I was really mad at the time. But then it was like the greatest blessing. It's because I didn't want to be
Yeah.
a kid show, I wanted to be an
Yeah.
actor. I was like, but it was a great learning
Mhm.
lesson for sure.
Do you think because you grew up in that environment with so many artists that influenced you wanting to be an actor, or do you think
Yeah.
you would have?
Well, I think so. I have 3 older sisters, and they're all kind of interested in acting, and they were like in musical theater and stuff, and I had no interest. I wanted to be a hockey player. I was
Mhm.
like acting. I remember going to see one of their plays, and I was like, this is literally the longest 2 hours of my entire life. Like,
Was it Shakespeare?
it was anything but. It was absolutely terrible. And like I remember my sisters were good and stuff, but I didn't even have an idea to think if they were really good or not. I was just like, oh, I gotta go to this play.
Mhm.
And then something just struck, and I just really liked doing it. And then like, everyone is doing it, so it kind of makes you want to be a jack of all trades. Like you're kind of like, I do want to try and do everything because I saw that with everyone, like kind of just scraping and clawing, just making stuff happen. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you must know what that's like. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like you do it yourself,
Mhm.
and I think being around that is so important because the first like 18 years of my life, I was not exposed to that because I wasn't interested. So I was only exposed to sports. I was like, I just want to be an athlete.
Were you good at sports?
I'm a good hockey player, yeah, and I'm decent at basketball and baseball and stuff like that. So I was always like good,
Mhm.
but like not good enough. I didn't have the drive. I
Yeah.
don't think like, and it takes so long to realize you're like like I literally feel like it was like a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, maybe I could have made it as a hockey player if I just gave a shit and tried.
Yeah.
Just didn't try.
Yeah.
And you see, like, when you get in this business, how fucking hard you have to try. Like, it
Mhm.
is like, it's a nonstop, every day, all day kind of thing.
Yeah. So when you made that decision, okay, I'm gonna move to Toronto. I want to be an actor. Was your family? You moved there too.
To do that,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
because
there was
obviously there's
more
more in
cast.
Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's more chances of
And
stuff.
was your family like, great?
Yeah, they were like, go
Yeah.
for it. Good.
Uh-huh.
Like, my family is really, really supportive in every way. They're just like, yeah, just go do it. I don't care. And then they were like, and then I got on a TV show I did a show for 6 years in Canada, and And when I was on it, they were all like, "Mark's on a TV show?" Like they didn't really understand it.
Really?
And I remember watching the show with my parents, and they'd just be like, "Oh, where was that filmed?" And I'm like, "Just watch my scene." Do you know that guy? What's he like in real life? I was like, "Motherfucker, just watch it."
Yeah.
Goddamn, I bled my heart out for this one scene.
Yeah.
That's what. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, I just saw it. I cried.
I loved it.
Wait, where'd you see it?
I saw the ArcLight.
Okay.
Where'd you see
I
it?
saw it at New Beverly
Oh,
Cinema.
you fucker! I should
And
have
I
seen it.
cried
Yeah,
right before it started.
before it started.
I talked about this already on my last episode, but because so I hadn't been to that theater before, that's Tarantino's theater. And
course.
right before the movie started, there was this like old-timey radio playing in the background.
Yeah.
And it was in the bathroom and it was all over, and I noticed it when I was in the bathroom, and then I came back in, sat down in my seat, and then a guy who works at the theater was like, "Hey," right before it started, came out with the mic and was like, "Hey, just to let you know, we're going to show a series of shorts that were like deleted scenes that didn't make it into the movie.
Oh,
Tarantino
cool.
wanted to show that here." And then also just want to point out that that was like a radio station from that time, and he really wanted to immerse the audience.
Wow.
And the second he said that, I don't know what happened, but something rised up in me. I just started crying.
Wow.
And I was which was like pretty wild for me.
Yeah.
But that's been happening to me a lot lately with certain
Yeah.
things that I get moved. And my husband was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, "I'm moved." And it just, and it just meant so much to me that he would want to immerse the audience.
Yeah.
And just like to think that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Next time I cry, I'm gonna scream, "I'm moved."
I
as
know.
well. That's
well, I
really,
didn't know what else to
just
say.
to let him know. I'm gonna do it before I cry. Like
That's
as a
not even-
warning. I'm moved. So be.
I didn't know what to say, but we had gotten to a fight like 10 minutes before
Did this
that.
ease it? Did that ease the fight a little bit?
It's like maybe I was just pretending I got moved and it was really about the fight.
That's,
No, I'm
good.
just kidding.
That's exactly
No,
what
no,
I was
no.
getting at. I'm like,
I just didn't know what to say, and it was like the shortest amount of words because he was like, "What? What?" And I
I'm
was like,
moved.
Fuck. Anyways, what about the movie?
Who gives a shit? Who cares? Let's just talk about how handsome Brad Pitt is. Can you believe
right?
it though?
Yeah.
55 years old. Give me a
Is he
fucking
55?
break. Yeah.
he is hot.
Can you believe
Leo's
that?
hot too, though.
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. Look,
You're
I'm
more of a Brad guy.
I look, I'm happily married. I love
Mhm.
women, but Brad Pitt is the most beautiful creature that's ever
Yeah.
graced the earth. My God. But DiCaprio, that scene, that movie, like I love Tarantino's the only one who I felt like I was going to see Star Wars when I saw it because everyone at the theater was buzzing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was talking. There was an excitement at the theater, and I was like, "Fuck, I never get this anymore." I love movies so much. I'm so fucking sick of sequels. I'm so sick of non-original movies
I know.
that it's like this is so exciting. And the reason why I brought it up was I can't fucking remember. What were we talking about?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, but just before
Fuck,
that.
I don't know.
Oh, I had something really juicy. It
No!
made me really like feel something.
Were you gonna cry?
No. We were talking about I moved to Toronto. My family was supportive.
They were. You were on a show. They kept asking you stuff. So
Yeah.
then, did you see the movie and someone was asking you stuff?
No, wait. It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. Let's keep. This is
Okay.
fun. This is good. This is good. Good
my
banter.
memory is shot right now.
So we're talking about Once Upon a Time. I saw the thing.
Jenny,
I can't remember.
do you remember?
Dude, what were we talking about? It's
Don't
gonna be like the
know.
smallest, shittiest point I was gonna make ever. I bet.
I know that's so funny.
Anyway, the point is that movie is fucking great, and I really
How'd
enjoyed
you feel
myself.
about the ending?
I love the ending.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
that it's
it
like
was so fun.
yeah, to take the ball, to have the balls to be like, let's change this. I also felt like it was giving her justice in sort of a way, and like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just miss that. I miss movies that are original. I just miss it so much.
I know, because everything is a remake or
Everything.
yeah.
And it's so hard to like be excited about something where
It's
you
like
know
everyone's
the character.
afraid of like taking a chance.
Yeah, and
That's why I like Euphoria. Did you watch that
no,
show?
I haven't. I heard it's so good.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it
talking
is
about that.
good. And I just haven't seen anything like that in a long time. And
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of like some of the stuff when we were growing up. How
Yeah.
they don't really have a lot of stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
I felt that same way about. Did you ever hear that movie Thoroughbreds?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because he has another movie now called Bad Education.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's gonna come out next year. I think. I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer. I'm really excited to see it.
I don't know. Just like some of those kind of remind me of like Cruel Intent. I mean,
Yeah.
Euphoria isn't like that. Thoroughbreds is more like a Cruel Intentions kind of type. Euphoria is just kind of like, I don't know. The first episode, I'm like, they're trying to be kids.
Yeah.
But
But I like that too. Like I get people always kind of rip me apart when I say I really like Green Book.
Mhm.
I just thought it was great.
I liked it
I
too.
thought it felt like a '90s movie. Like it
Yeah.
felt like
Oh.
just a movie. Like
Yeah.
it's not too anything. It's just like, oh, it's just a good story.
Yeah.
And that's actually I'm not bringing this is not like a ploy to bring it to City on a Hill, the show I'm on, but it's like one of the reasons I wanted to do it is because I was like, well, fuck, it was a cool job. Showtime, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon producing,
Oh,
Kevin Bacon,
really?
there's all these great things,
Yeah.
and the script was really great, and it was everything was pointing yes, but like it was also like this is a show I'd like to watch. This is like like an actual like crime procedural show
Mm.
that like I never see these anymore. Like I miss just good movies, like '70s movies. I love '70s movies. Like
Mhm.
it's just a good like cop story or something like that, or good a relationship drama.
Yeah.
Like everything has to be such a big idea right now that I'm like, man. And when you know, like what you're saying, safe. It's like when you know in the movie that it's like, ugh, well, that character's probably not gonna die. Like remember when Avengers, the last one?
I didn't see it, but you can keep talking about it.
Can I spoil her?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not
So,
gonna see it.
like half the people like die in like the first one. Did you know about that?
No.
You know they're gonna come back. It's like they're not gonna
Oh
keep.
yeah.
Like they're not all gonna be dead. Chris Pratt is
Someone's
not
gonna have to avenge something.
Someone's gonna come
Yeah,
back. And so when
uh-huh.
everyone's like, "Can you believe it? The risk they took?" I was like,
Really?
"Yeah, I can really believe it because they're definitely going to live. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that all those characters are just dead. Like, there's and I was right. Like,
Yeah.
so, and not that it's a bad movie. It's really well crafted, but it's like I hate
It's really well crafted.
so crafted. I love the producers and all the creative team, and they should go see Ready or Not.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's like it's not as exciting to me is what it
Mhm.
comes down to, even if it's not as good.
So let's talk about Ready or Not.
Yeah, you saw it.
I did. I saw it with my friend. I I realized I hadn't been breathing during the movie because I was holding my
That's
breath.
great.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it was a black comedy.
Yeah, it's
too.
really funny. Yeah,
And I just thought I was going to see a scary movie, and I was like, this movie's fucking funny.
yeah, yeah. It's really funny.
And
Yeah.
I was like, this is really funny for a scary movie.
Did you scream
and
you
then-
were moved?
Huh?
Were you like I'm moved, but like in a happy theatrical
No,
way?
but I was like, ah! I grabbed my friend's. I brought my friend with me, and I grabbed her like leg at one point, and then I was like, that was weird. She's in a skirt. Relax.
You're
Which I
like,
thought was a little much.
change your
And then I was
relationship.
like, sorry.
Yeah.
I usually go to a scary movie with like a guy.
Yeah.
And
Sure, when I get scared, I make out with the person next to me. It's so strange.
that's so a thing that a guy would say to a girl who's like trying to fuck her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was scary. It was funny. It was good. I enjoyed it. Where'd you guys shoot it?
Shot in Toronto. Get this: the majority of the mansion is shot at is the Happy Gilmore mansion.
Oh.
Not Happy Gilmore. Oh my God, Billy Madison. The Billy Madison
Yeah.
mansion. Where are you a Billy Madison?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I did.
Like when you say you saw it, it
That
seems like you
was
only saw it
his-
once.
I saw it when I was a little bit younger. Yeah.
You haven't rewatched it
I
10,000
haven't.
times.
I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
that movie is
And
like.
and it holds up.
I don't. I'm
Wait,
curious to
but
see,
is
like,
there the pool in the back? Oh,
there is
okay.
when she's getting when the wedding pictures are being taken.
Oh yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can kinda see
And
the
I
pool in the
love
background.
that. Like, okay, so so they have like the scene, like the opening is like you and her talking about the wedding, and then you guys go outside.
Yes.
Essentially, right?
Yeah.
You know how it's just shot really cool when they're outside and they're doing the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the moment where I was like, I'm on board.
Oh wow,
The
interesting.
just look the way that it looked.
He's a very good DP. The guy who shot his name is Brett Jukowitz. It's so funny when you're doing a
Am
movie.
I saying that right? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
No, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. And when we were doing them, I felt similarly
Oh,
when I
okay.
saw it. I
And
was
the
like, oh wow,
coloring,
this looks
too.
so great.
Yeah.
When you're shooting, you never know how something looks. And then
Mhm.
when I saw it, I was
yes,
like,
yes,
oh my
yes.
God, this is beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
he's very talented. And the directors, too, there's two directors. Matt
I
Bettinelli.
noticed that.
Yeah. Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillette, they both work so well together, but it's like so prepared. We shot in like 22 days or something.
Oh, wow.
Which was very, very light
Yeah.
amount, like 12-hour days, 1-2 takes. So we didn't have time. But yeah, they pulled it off. I mean, that's a tone that's really hard to get.
Yeah.
Of like funny, scary, heartfelt too
Yes.
at moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did a really good job. It's one of the few instances I've seen where it's like that was a really good script, but
Mhm.
they made it even better.
Mm.
And that's hard to do because it's all what basically as good as the script is.
Mhm.
And I was excited. I was like, this script is great. And then I watched it. I was like, this is phenomenal. Like what
Yeah.
they all did. Everyone worked together really well.
Yeah. So the house creeped me out. And I was thinking, Do you get scared film now that I know it's the Billy Madison house?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as creepy.
Yeah, you should go back and watch it. You'll feel better about yourself.
But I was like, do you get fucking scared being in that creepy house when you're shooting that?
No, never.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, are you afraid of scary movies? Do scary movies
Yes.
affect you?
yes, I cannot see that movie Hereditary.
Yeah.
Never in a million years
I
will
know.
I see
I
it.
haven't seen Midsummer yet.
I saw that because I heard that's more unnerving than scary, and I was like, cool, I'll see that.
Yeah.
But Hereditary, I was like, I just can't do it. I'm too scared.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I
a
know. I have
wuss.
to go.
So I always think that too, actually, and same thing with like blood and guts when there's like
Mhm.
gore and something. I'm like, do people like find this hard to shoot? But it's like, no,
Yeah,
you
so
don't.
what was it like in your experience? Because I've always wanted to ask someone who was in a horror movie that. And do you go home like kind of scared?
No.
Really?
You think you would? It's so funny because
I don't believe
Even-
that. You're
even
like
the most-
shattering something I've built up.
no, not at all. I'm not one. Yeah,
No!
but some people like to run around. Like I'm always like this. Like if you have to be in character all day, I'm like, you know, a construction worker doesn't need to carry around a bag of nails all day. Like I'm
Uh-huh.
like.
So did
like-
you have a couple of?
So I
guess you
don't.
had
I
some-
just walk away. I'm just like, oh, I did the scene. The scene's over. Like I don't really carry it home with me. And same thing when you're doing like.
Did a lot of your co-star? I mean,
No, everyone's
Okay.
just so chill. We were
Okay.
like, it'd be like the most serious scene. And then like 2 seconds later, we were like, oh, look at this fucking, like ridiculous. This movie, there's still a text thread going. This movie was ridiculous.
And you're like, guys,
There's-
we have to be scared now.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
I kind of, there's something so stupid. I don't even know if I can talk about it. I think
Just do it.
there's a
Who
word
gives a
that's said
fuck?
in this that's like another, it's part of like a scary moment that happens. And someone has to say, a word that's like obviously some sort of like not Gaelic but some other
like
kind
the
of
Latin
like tongue.
term when they're over.
Yeah,
the
kind of thing.
dad.
Yes, and it's shemhemfresh.
What?
Shemhemfresh
Yes!
is the
I
word that's
know,
used.
I was like, what the fuck is? Okay.
Now Henry Czerny, who plays my dad in the movie,
Okay.
who's phenomenal. He's so funny in the movie, and scary too. We had to keep saying this word shemhemfresh, 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 and as you keep saying something like that, it obviously. The pronunciation takes on a life of its own a little bit, right? Because you're just repeating it. So it's like, shemhemfresh, 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 shemhemfresh. And then finally it was like cut at one of the takes, and Henry was like, God, you think they could finally get some ham for us? Like some ham for us?
And then you're like,
And I've been laughing. Sorry, I just spit over.
no.
Because I've been laughing ever since at
Yeah.
how wonderful that stupid joke is. So that's how silly
Yeah.
it was. We're like, Shem ham for us.
I
It's like
remember
scary.
when I
And then he's
got
like,
there,
let's
I
get
was
some
like-
ham for us. And I'm like, that's the funniest thing ever. It's like, we're children.
It becomes like so silly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so silly. You can't.
And I
You can't
liked
keep
the
it together.
ending.
Oh, yeah.
How there's a beat and then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
ruin it.
Yeah, the
right?
ending's great. It's really throttling.
That was gross.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. It's. Because my wife asked the other day, she hasn't seen it yet. And she was like,
Really?
yeah. And she was
What?
like, is
Are
it.
you mad?
No, I
When
know.
did it come out?
Oh,
When I snapped.
the 21st
of
of August.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. Is this airing later?
Oh. Well,
'Cause-
it's supposed to come out next week.
Yeah. No, it's the 19th. There's a special screening, which is like the premiere. The 21st, it comes out.
Oh, but I already saw it in some theaters right now.
Oh, they're doing some special screenings around.
Oh, okay.
So-
Because I googled to make sure if it had come out or not when I was.
It kind of has. It played at Fantasia in Montreal, and it's playing here like a Santa Monica
I
something.
think I saw it at the ArcLight.
What? Oh. I don't know about that. You'll edit around this little
Okay.
beat.
Okay.
Anyway, my wife she was like, "Is there a lot of gore in it?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Kind of not really, but towards the end, it makes up for all of that. By the
Mhm.
time the movie's over, you're like, oh my god."
Yeah, no, it's not like. What I liked about this movie is that there wasn't like some annoying monster.
Yeah.
It wasn't like. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say now.
No, I know what you mean. It's like when a movie like has a great setup,
the
and then at the
people.
end it goes crazy, and you're like, God, what the hell? This is so hard to
Yeah.
believe. This is like, no, it's still kind of just pretty grounded, actually.
Yeah. And I feel like it's probably hard to like get a good ending to like a scary movie. to
Yeah.
really box things up, and I felt good about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. yeah. It's pretty
Because
good.
my opinion matters.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I felt good about it. I was moved.
Yeah.
That's your full review.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I'm like, I'm really proud of it. It's really rare to do something that you're proud of, really,
Mhm.
in the end. Because
Mhm.
it's a fucking miracle for any movie to happen.
Yeah, and you probably feel like when you sign on to something that there's a bit of a chance, like, well, I hope it works.
Yeah, and then also I hope people see it, and I
Mhm.
hope I loved a movie I did a couple years ago called The Front Runner with Hugh Jackman, directed by Jason Reitman, and I love that movie. And people just didn't really go see it. I guess it just wasn't the time for it. And so that movie was such a good script.
Mhm.
Jason Reitman, he did,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much. He's amazing. He is, if not the best, and certainly one of the best people I've ever worked with,
Mm.
talented wise. Hugh Jackman is everything you think he is. He's wonderful. J.K. Simmons is great. Vera Farmiga, Alfred Molina, and this whole ensemble that we're still like really good friends today. So it was such a treat. I see the movie. I'm like, the movie's brilliant, and then not as many people go see it. So
What
it's
the
like that
fuck?
one thing
What
falls
is
apart.
that?
I don't know. It's like it's this weird like excuse me. It's kind of like when something is a hit, people are like, "Oh, no one saw that coming." Like
Mm.
it's such a
You can never
hard
say.
you can never say, and that's why I think when studios think that they know the answer to it, it's like then Get Out comes out.
Yeah.
And it's a movie made for $4 million and it brings in like 275 million worldwide.
Mhm.
You're like, "Oh." And then everyone's just trying to do that again. So it's
Mhm.
like it's such a funny thing. I just think trust the artists.
Mhm.
If they're really talented, trust them. That's the way I always look at it.
Yeah. So you didn't get scared,
Didn't
okay?
get scared.
I'm a little disappointed. And did you think about any what do you think about to get yourself scared?
That's actually a good question because it's not
And
scary
I
when
don't
it's
know if
happening.
that's a personal thing as an actor.
I think it's like when people like to get really like kind of into it. I never like go into my personal history or anything like
Mhm.
that. I just kind of imagine it. It's on the page. That's what it says is happening. So you have to have some sort of imagination to be like, I guess this is the stakes of what's happening. But it's also working with good people that it just kind of ends up coming naturally. I kind of think about it all sort of like kind of emotionally, but technically as well. Like you can get lost in doing a character or being scared or doing whatever the fuck. But if it's not being photographed, if you're not there to make it sure it's photographed properly, then it's not going to work. And obviously, like you're standing in front of the camera, but there are other little kind of technical things you need to be aware of the camera to some degree. So when you're doing something that, like, yeah, you have to be scared. It's also there's a technical aspect I think as well, and that's why I always when I'm filming I always ask what lens size they're on,
Mm.
where the camera
How'd you
is.
learn about that? You just learned about
I
it.
guess like yeah, I love movies and like I'm a filmmaker. I made a lot of short films. I'm about to
Mhm.
direct my first feature
Oh,
soon.
awesome. Congrats.
Thanks. So it's like I just naturally am inclined, naturally interested.
Mhm.
So I just want to know, and I think it helps.
Don't certain people have that in their contract? Maybe like more so women.
Oh, like certain like close-ups and lenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say for sure. Yeah.
I heard that recently.
But you know what? I'm actually if you are that big of a star to be able to even have that in your contract,
I think it was like
you
Big Little Lies people.
well they're big enough and they're good enough
Yeah.
and they're selling it enough and their work is all like look at Nicole Kidman. I'm a
Incredible.
huge fan of hers.
Love. Did you
She,
watch Big Little Lies?
no, I didn't.
Oh.
I haven't seen it. I love. Did you see Killing of a Sacred Deer? By any
I
chance?
didn't. I
I
missed
love
that
that
one.
movie.
Okay, yeah, I have to check that out.
She takes like cool chances and everything too.
Yeah.
And like, no matter what, if I was doing a movie with her and found out it's like she'll only shoot on a 50 millimeter lens, I'd be like, who fucking yes, who gives a shit?
Yeah, why
Like,
not?
she's always great.
Mhm.
And if that's for some reason, it might also be like a performance thing. It's like I actually think I'm just captured better on this size sort of thing.
Mhm.
But
That's cool that you asked though about that
yeah, I just
and
want to
filter
know
that in.
because you're working in concert with everybody. Like
Uh-huh.
even the sound
Wait, can
guy
you
and
give
the
me an
thing.
example? I'm just so I understand.
Well, if we're doing a scene and right now it's me and you talking,
Yeah.
we're sitting across one another and they do a two shot of us, like
Mhm.
a 50-50, so it'd be both of our profiles. And I know that that's all the covers are going to do. They're not going to do close-ups. And I know the
Mhm.
size of the lens. I know that I can talk over you a little bit. I can like we can talk over one another's lines a little bit. I know how physical I can or can't be. Like if I'm trying to tell a story and I noticed in rehearsal or in blocking that I'm using my hands a lot and it seemed to work. But I know that they're tight enough they're not seeing my hands. It's like, oh, that's good to know because that thing is not going to work in
Yeah.
this particular shot. Or prop that I'm using. So I think it's always good to know, or when I'm out of frame, if it's that tight, like I need to know when I'm out, when I'm in focus, when I'm not. It's not like I go over and badger the guy and it's like, give me a fucking list
Yeah.
exactly of how you're moving when.
Yeah.
It's like, but I do think that helps the movie a little bit.
Mhm.
It's harder when you're a smaller part in something If you're not a big part and you go over like, yo, dude, hey, Roger Deakins, what lens are you on, bruh? Hey, Spielberg, we're really gonna go on the 50? You're crazy. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it's better when you like have a more substantial role.
Mhm.
Because I find that hard when you're a small role in something. Doing one line in a 3-page scene is way fucking harder than doing a 3-page monologue to me.
Mhm.
Because you're like, when I come in and then everyone's talking and then you go, he went left. And like, that's your line. You're like, how can I put anything into that? How can I bring anything to that? And also, you're just waiting for your cue the whole time. You're like, what can I do the whole time that these guys are talking? Because eventually they will do a close up of just you in the shot. So you have to just be like, they don't know which way he went. Oh,
Right.
yeah. He went left. And then you just go back again. And you're like, I hope that was good. And then half time you fuck it up because you're just thinking about your one line the whole time. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask something about the ending because it was unclear to me. But
Of Ready or
again,
Not?
yeah. Should I wait until after with the?
Oh, with that. Oh.
I was confused.
Oh,
did I miss that?
as in, did I mean to
Can
do
we
that?
talk about that?
I guess. Did I mean to do?
Fuck it, you know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Good
Wait,
point.
so you stabbed her on the arm
She
at
moved.
the very end.
She moved.
Oh, because I was like, did I miss something?
Did I plan to do that?
Yeah, I was unclear about that moment.
That
Has
was
anyone else talked about that
No, but
moment?
I
too?
wondered about that too. But I think
Really?
I think it works either
You
way.
can't question it.
I think it works either way
So what
because
happened there?
because it's a tough blocking thing. It was like it was so quick how it happens. It's hard to sell that moment of what's happening because it's happening so fast. So I did think at the time I was like, even if you think I meant to miss,
Yeah.
I still think it's okay. You're
what
like,
did you think?
I thought that she moved.
Okay.
She just moved. She goes at the last minute.
Did
I
you
miss.
get to decide that for yourself?
No, that was totally working with the
Okay.
directors. But I'm just saying in the back of my mind, I was like, ooh, I don't know if this will be captured enough because it's hard to show someone like moving at the last minute and it being like that's the reason why.
She went through so much.
When I read that script, I was like, man, whoever's playing this role.
Was she exhausted? Like, could she even have a conversation?
Yes, she's a superhero. Samara's like, and always laughing. I remember one day I went in.
She's Australian, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went in at 2:00 in the morning. She'd been shooting. They started at like 6 p.m. and they were going to shoot till like 6 or 7 in the morning. And I didn't come in until 2 in the morning. And so it was kind of a weird time to come in. And I was like, this fucking sucks, man. I'm like so tired. Like, it's middle of the night. Like, what do? Do I sleep beforehand?
Yeah.
Do I sleep after?
What did you do?
I slept for about an hour and a half.
Ugh,
and then, which was the worst thing. And then I went home, slept till like 10.
Yeah.
And I was just all fucked up. My life is so hard.
Ugh.
And I remember complaining to her, and she was just like so chill about it. I was like, you're here all night.
Yeah.
Like but yeah, what she had to go through and just covered in blood and just physically
when
like
she falls in the dead.
I know. And there's a hand through the nail. There's a hand through the nail, and I saw it.
Obviously.
Well, I saw it when there was no nail.
Uh-huh.
As in VFX, there was no VFX.
Oh yeah.
And I remember being like, oh yeah. It's kind of funny to watch something when it's not there, like a nail going through someone's hand and there's no nail. You're just like, oh, this is kind of funny. And then when I saw it with the nail, I was like, ah, gross!
Yeah.
I was like, I'm moved! Like, it was really, like, I hated it. And yet I knew it wasn't there. I, in fact, saw it not being there. But it's so funny how it still is, like, throttling.
So did you guys mostly shoot at night then?
Yeah, there was a lot of...
everything was at night pretty much.
Yeah, even though it was inside and you can kind of black out the windows, it still had to be. There were so many windows in the place. So it was a lot of night shoots. And then we had to stay. We became obsessed with... So I used to have a huge guilty pleasure for Subway restaurants.
Ugh.
I
hate the smell.
Was obsessed. Like, you don't understand.
But the smell.
Loved it.
No!
Loved it. It was my favorite. It was like my thing. I was like, I'm really healthy, but I was like, I love Subway. So while we were filming, we had to shoot outside of Toronto for some of the mansion stuff. That mansion is in Oshawa, which Oshawa is about an hour and a half outside of Toronto. So we all were staying in Toronto when we were shooting. And then we'd go to Oshawa, we'd stay in like, because it was such a tight turnaround, we'd finish and then be in the first scene the next day. So rather than drive an hour and a half every day. So like 3 days out of the week, each of us had to stay in this hotel in Oshawa that had no restaurant and no room service. And then there was not many things open. Like there was no options. So there was a Subway that we all got subs every single night. And me and Henry Cherney, who plays my father in the movie, he would wait for me because he'd be like, well, I know you're going to want your sub. And I'm like, but you have a driver. He's like, yeah, but we'll make sure we'll go together.
That's nice.
So sweet. And then since then, I had food poisoning from Subway, and now I'm off it, and I feel like a new man. It's been a huge change in
Oh
my
my
life.
god.
Yeah, so we ate a lot of
I would be
Subway.
so unhappy if I was in your position and Subway was the only restaurant. But I
Oh,
guess you learn to love it.
I have thought about that since. I'm like, what am I gonna do the next time I'm in the middle? Because Subway's everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna do next time? I
You'll
guess.
get into a new restaurant.
But Subway's everywhere. There's no place like Subway.
There's tons of places like that.
No, disagree.
Okay.
What would you rather, McDonald's or Subway?
Neither. I don't eat
You
fast
have to
food
eat one. You have a
anymore.
gun to your head.
I don't eat. I actually had Taco Bell, which I do not eat fast food anymore. I'm
Right.
sober.
That's good.
And I used to eat fast food when I would get fucked up and be
Oh
hungover.
right. Oh, of course. Okay. I think you meant you're sober from that food.
No.
Yeah.
I'm counting days.
Yeah.
But now I would never eat that stuff. But
'Cause
I
you don't
had
have
to
that
eat it
reason.
recently because I was on the road doing stand up, and there's nothing around when you're like outside of big cities and you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So there's like only fast food restaurants, and I didn't want to be difficult. So yeah, I had
How'd
to
you
eat Taco
feel?
Bell. It was like I was so uncomfortable, but it was okay. I got something like very generic.
So
It was gross.
but if you had to eat McDonald's,
I would get fries. I used to eat McDonald's all the time. My parents took me there every weekend growing up.
but now,
But
what grosses you out the most? Which one grosses you out the most? What fast food you're like, oh my god, never.
you
in a
know
million
what it
years.
was? It's like remember the like internet video of the pink
Oh yes,
with
yes,
the
I
chicken.
know.
That's
Yeah,
what I think of.
me too.
The
Me
pink
too.
soft serve is the inside of the chicken nugget,
It's
right?
disgusting. Yeah.
I don't know what I would eat to play it safe at a fast food restaurant. Definitely fries. I don't think I would be that,
Yeah.
upset about. But I don't know whether I would choose the chicken nuggets or the hamburger.
It's a tough one. Don't they say like real beef now? Isn't it funny that
Oh, really?
they even market that? They're like, guess we're making real beef. It's like, oh, thank you.
Trust us again.
Yeah. It's not plastic. I swear to fuck. But I used to eat McDonald's. I used to love McDonald's. I haven't had it in like 8 years. And then I had it. I've probably had it once in like 8 years. And there was like I didn't have it for like 2 years, and then had it once. And I had just had a Big Mac meal. I couldn't sleep that night. It was like I couldn't sleep. I was
my
awake all
God.
night, not sick, just like couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Was so bloated. I just had like a regular Big Mac
Yeah.
meal. Like could not get enough water. I felt like I like had ecstasy. I was like,
Yeah, it breaks
yeah, it breaks down what's good in you.
Down, yeah.
Emotionally,
Yes.
it was the worst feeling I ever had. So they're not gonna give us free meals, I guess, after this.
I don't want one.
No, they're disgusting. It's awful.
Yeah.
Like I have a daughter. I have a 1.5-year-old. Well, she's almost 2, and I'm like, I would just never give it to her. I'm like, why would you? Like, I'm sad I ever had it. So bad.
Isn't it crazy thinking back? Like, yeah, again, like my parents took me there every weekend. It's like,
what the fuck?
but
Is
I
wrong
don't
with
think
you
it's
guys?
that bad then. But if your parent is right, it's like they didn't know enough. It was just like
I think
McDonald's.
so. Yeah, I think everyone was just like, oh, that's fun. It was marketed really well because it's like
Yeah.
family place.
Yeah, Happy Meals.
Yeah, Happy
toys.
Meals,
Now it's
yeah.
just like hormones and
Live till you're 40. Yeah.
obesity.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
And then they had this obesity Donald's. We can do better than
I was
that.
like renaming. Yeah, okay.
And then like supersizing. It's like, why are we supersizing it? Why do we need to do
Yeah.
that? But I did it every fucking
I
time.
can guess the scene you auditioned with. Did you audition
Yes.
for Ready or Not?
Yeah, what do you think it is?
Do you ever watch things and you go, "Oh, that's the scene"?
Always.
Really? Yeah.
Especially when someone has one line, I'm like, audition 3 times for that.
Oh.
He went left. He went in like 5
Why
times.
did you say he went left?
Because
Was
that's
that
his one. That's someone's
Who?
one line in a movie, maybe. Like
But was
I-
it in Ready or Not?
no, good God, no.
Oh, I keep trying to because that line would make perfect sense.
It would,
in
but
the
I'm
movie.
picturing like a police movie where they're like trying to find the
Oh,
killer
okay.
and they lost him like
Oh,
in the
some guy,
chase
like,
on the street.
went left.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. That'd be a good audition. You added a cigarette to it. Yeah, he went left. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, who is that guy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But he would have auditioned like 5 times probably for that. Anyway, what do you think was the audition scene?
When you are when you're on the ground with the handcuffs on and you're having the conversation with your mom.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Was
that's good.
that was it?
Yeah, yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
really
probably
good.
like another scene with her.
There was the one with
Maybe like the
where I
opening.
explain with Samara when I'm like, you gotta go, like you gotta
When
run.
you bring her in and
Yeah.
hide her down below the bed.
Yeah. No. Another one after that when I'm like when we depart from one another. But yeah, that was
I knew
that
it.
was it. You could tell. It's like
Yeah, you
there's
could
always like that
tell.
stand up thing and it's like, yeah, they need to see that, I guess.
Yeah.
What about you? So your stand up, do you audition?
Yeah,
as
I
well?
do.
How do you feel?
I don't audition that much though.
How do you feel about auditions?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've cracked the code
It's such a weird thing.
of like I think it's like I don't know if I'm like good in a room.
Because it's
I
not
think that's like
real.
I know that some people are good at that automatically, and then I think I don't know. I feel like I'm like trying to like learn how to
Yeah.
get better at that.
Well, because it's so bizarre. It's a different room every
Yeah.
time. It's different people. Sometimes they're not that interested.
Uh huh.
And it's not the way it's going to be on set. I'm like, this
Mhm.
is not the actual. This is not at all what this is going to be like.
Mhm.
So it's kind of I find it kind of silly in a way.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, this
Do
is
you
not.
have any weird audition stories?
Oh my god, there's so many
Things that went.
bad and
Yeah.
good. And there was one I did. I guess this will translate, even though we're not on camera. Um, there was one I did where it was some football show. This was in Canada,
Mhm.
and I was auditioning via Skype or whatever
Yeah.
it was at the time. So the screen was like 3 feet in front of me, and then so that's where those guys were seeing me from, like via satellite. And then the reader was behind them, which was really weird because they can't see him. They don't know what this guy's given me. And there was a scene where there's a part where he's supposed to punch me. And
Yeah.
of course, you can't act out the punch.
Mhm.
So I just took the emotion of being punched, was what I was going to do. So it gets to that part where he's supposed to punch me. And I'm like, and his pages are fucking stuck together, this reader. And he's like, oh, just a second. And I'm like, just a second. Fucking just
No.
standing here. And he's trying to get the pages. And I'm like, and I don't even know if they hear him saying just a second. So they're probably like, what is this guy doing? Like, I'm just standing there, like, just looking blankly, trying
Yeah.
to maintain the fucking scene or whatever. And then finally, the guy opens the next page, reads that, like, he punches. He's obviously never read this, the guy who's reading with me. And it's like, he punches Mark. And then he goes, oh. And then he lets off a big fake air punch from 20 feet away. And then I physically act like I went, ugh! Like I went like that. So they were probably, the people watching are probably like, what the fuck was he doing for like 30 seconds just
Yeah.
standing there? And then I just went, ugh! And then I just literally, like, I just almost cried, like, right after that. There's so many. I remember I did one once where I had to pretend I was in the war, but the sides I read were not what they wanted me to audition for. And I went in, and then they were just like, can you pretend you're, like, hiding behind stuff and gunfire's happening around you? So I had to get behind the desk, and I was like, oh, whoa, whoa. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Do you really need to see this? You don't
Yeah.
believe I could do
And how
this?
much of it do you?
I know, it's like it's such a weird thing. I like it to a degree when it's done well, but sometimes it's just an
Mhm.
awkward scenario. And when they're like, "Thanks," I'm like, "Why don't you just tell me
Yeah.
if I'm
It's like,
gonna get it
huh?
now?"
Huh?
Like, yeah. I kind of do that now. To be honest, now I'm like, "Did you get it?" And then they'll be
Oh,
like,
yeah,
and
that's
I
cool.
always ask them like, "Yeah, no, it's good." I'm like, "Let me do one more," and a lot of times they'll let you do another one, and they're like, "Oh, that was great."
Mm.
I hate leaving being like, I'm not sure what I did in there,
Right.
and it's my time to do something good. And they want you to be good.
Mhm.
It's just it depends on the casting person, I think, too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes they can be weird, or you don't get the right person, or whatever. So I found since I moved to LA, it's mostly been very positive.
Yeah.
I find there's some really good casting directors here.
The house. Did that have all those secret passageways?
Some Yes,
That was all filmed there?
yes. Some of the passageways, I don't know if they connected exactly to where they connected in the movie,
Mhm.
but a lot of those were real. Yeah, there's one. The first one I go through led to nowhere, so I just had to open the door and then just step into nothing. There was nothing there.
Mhm.
But a lot of those passageways were there. It's very interesting. It was like really weird when we shot this. I was like, where are we? Like in
Yeah.
the catacombs of
I'm
this
surprised
place.
that was there.
Yeah, it's a really old building. Apparently, like some multimillionaire owned it back in like the built it in like the 30s or something,
Mhm.
and now it's used as like a heritage property or whatever. And Billy Madison.
How do you keep yourself awake
Oh
when
man,
you are shooting at night?
I'm really cranky at night shoots because
Mhm.
I'm like thrown off my whole day. Can't go to the gym tomorrow. Like I get really fussy. Um, the best is when you're just shooting. It's the waiting to shoot really late
Mhm.
at night.
Mhm.
I find that really
Did
hard.
you take naps?
I can't nap. I'm not a
I
napper.
know, because then you'll get all groggy
Then you're
too,
all groggy
right?
and weird. I
Yeah.
take a nap, a 20-minute nap, and it takes me 2.5 hours to wake up fully from it.
Mhm.
So I find that the most difficult thing probably about filming in general is night shoots.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I heard Fight Club was 65 nights and 65 days. I'm like, I don't
Wow.
understand how that's really difficult
Yeah.
to get through. Um, Are you like a night person? Like, are you a night owl?
I go to sleep at like 2.
Oh wow, you are a total night owl.
Yeah. And I
Whoa.
wake up at like, whatever is 8 hours after that. Like 10 or
Would be
11.
10.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll get someone on the show who knows what time that would be.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, I'm early. I have a 2-year-old, so I'm like as early as possible, like 8, 9. And when people like, let's go for dinner, I'll meet you at 9. I'm like, are you fucking mind? What are you doing between the hours of 1 and 9? Aren't you hungry? Like, I get hungry at like 7. I'm like 7. So I go to bed. I'm like 9:30, 10. Get up at like 6:37.
So you have a daughter who's
Yeah.
going to be 2 years old. How has it been with a young child?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It does as a writer and as an actor, it helps you do compartmentalize things a bit better. Like if I'm like before I came here, I had to do a last pass on the script, the movie I'm about to direct. I had to do that. I did that in the last 25 minutes before I left to come here. And I knew I was like, that's just the only time I can really do that today within the time frame it needs to be done. So I don't procrastinate. I don't time procrastination. It's funny, takes time.
Yeah, you don't have a fucking Apple Watch.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and I never fucking will.
Yeah.
Beep bleep bloop. I like because it's funny. Doing nothing takes time, but then procrastination takes extra time. So I don't have that extra time. So I just get stuff done, and it's the hardest. I think is I talk a lot, and so does my wife. Like we're very communicative with one another, and my daughter picks up on that, and we're both very hands on. So when we're talking all day, she wants to talk too.
Oh.
So if we talk for more than 45 seconds straight, my daughter will be like, and blah, 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 and I do that, and it's so cute. But I'm like, honey, I need 5 minutes. Like, I'm trying to like tell my wife something very important. I'm trying to tell her that like, my grandmother died or something like that. I'm like, I just haven't gotten to that yet. So that's a challenge.
Yeah, what do you do to decompress when you come home from work, but then you have a kid and then you have your wife? Do you need to take time for yourself?
It's like what most people. It's literally I watch a movie in the morning. So my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every morning you watch
every
a movie?
morning. I won't finish it generally because there's too much stuff to do. But yeah, I'll watch a movie in the morning. Pretty disciplined. Like I'll watch a movie and go straight to the gym and stuff like that. Like every day. But I take my daughter
What time
before.
are you starting this movie?
Well, normally what I do is I'll get up like 6:37 and then I'll take my daughter for a walk and get her breakfast. And my wife has her time. And then my wife's an actress too. So and then and she'll like work out or do whatever she wants to do. And then I'll come back and then she'll take Penelope's my daughter. She'll take Penelope out to a park or something like that. And I have like an hour and a half, and then we kind of split the rest of the day. So that way, it's like we're getting our stuff done. We're productive. We still get to spend time with her each and together. So it's you kind of got to schedule it. It's got to be completely scheduled. But I watch a movie in the morning, and that helps me a lot to start the day. It's like I love movies so much. It just is a fresh way to start the day. And I watch like a different movie every day.
What have you been watching?
Right now, I'm watching a movie that's really fucking weird. So the movie I'm making is kind of like a gothic psychological horror, having to deal with Catholicism, not in any kind of take on Catholicism, just using a former priest and stuff like that.
Did you grow up Catholic?
Grew up in a Catholic household, yeah. Well, relative. We went to mass like once a week, and then we just didn't go after a while. But it just was a good backdrop for the story. The character kind of informed the movie. So I'm watching this movie called Under the Son of Satan. With Gerard Depardieu. Remember him?
Yeah, I do.
So it's like a 1987 movie, and I was just like, oh, I'm trying to watch movies that are linked to the movie I'm making.
Yeah.
To kind of not steal, but like to see what works and what doesn't work. And then at night, I like watching shows. Right now, we're rewatching Sopranos, which makes me really happy.
I tried to rewatch that,
It's so
actually
good.
start it.
Yeah.
Because I had never watched it before.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Did you not like it?
I just like there were so many things going on that I just forgot to like.
You would have been good on that show. What's your
Really? Thank
background?
you. I'm French, Jewish, but this isn't my real hair color.
Okay, because I was like, you could look
People
kind of
think I look
Italian.
Italian.
Yeah, I was like, you would look good on that show.
My hair's really dirty blonde, or like light.
Oh wow.
Light golden brown.
I can't picture it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But everyone thinks I'm Italian or Spanish.
Totally
or
thought Italian. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good, I guess.
Yeah, those are great people.
No, I meant like to be like slightly like like she could be a different.
You could be a
ethnicity.
bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do
I
not
meant
have
it in
that.
a gross way.
Biz
Biz-wise, you know.
You just winked at me for the record.
Yeah.
Biz-wise, I look nothing but massively Irish.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's
I feel okay. Are you in a lot of like scary-ish movies?
I'm in a few. Yeah, a few. Why?
Oh. For some reason, I thought that you were in a lot of like scary-ish crime, like a certain kind of.
I don't think so. I think
Okay,
I'm
I'm wrong.
so versatile
Yeah.
that I just run the gamut of every
Yeah.
genre. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't ask for these powers.
Mhm.
You
But
understand?
you're doing what you can.
I'm doing what I can.
Yeah.
I have to serve these powers.
And you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To a greater or lesser degree. But yeah, rewatch. I actually said to my wife the other day, we've been in like a non-sleeping kind of mode.
Mhm.
Not intentionally, obviously,
Mhm.
with the baby. And I'm like, and she's like, we need to go to bed early. I'm like, I need to watch Sopranos with you before bed. You don't
Uh-huh.
understand what it means to me.
My husband keeps
It's the best show of all time.
wanting to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Why?
I think because we're around comedy
Yeah.
so much and he doesn't want to watch like a funny show.
Yeah.
He just wants to watch something mindless. And I was like, "Oh, have you ever seen this show?" And he was like, "I don't want to fucking watch that." And now he like loves it.
Wow.
And he's like, "Let's watch our girl."
So that so that's his wind down
Yeah, so
thing.
cuz
Yeah.
kind of like you don't really have to think about
Yeah.
anything.
I
And
watch
when
I
you're
rewatched
tired.
Seinfeld and Simpsons
Yeah.
like a maniac just
Yeah.
because I'm like, great, I know this joke that's coming up. There it
Mhm.
is. It happened. Like I don't even laugh.
Yeah, I love Seinfeld.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed.
And I love The Simpsons growing up.
Oh yeah, yeah, up to that
That's what.
point
Yeah.
where it wasn't as funny anymore.
I
But
was not a Friends person.
really, well,
No.
Friends is good. Oh, you said no, almost like that was insulting. That I
Well, you know how it's either Seinfeld or Friends,
yes, I was
Beatles
Seinfeld.
or Rolling Stones,
Yes. Wow, not
right?
Friends at
Those are
all.
the two? No, not for me.
Wow, I did. I watched. I like it. But I
Yeah.
think Seinfeld is the greatest thing that's like ever happened to
Yeah, so funny.
television
Yeah.
comedy. It's the funniest thing ever. But yeah, I need those. I don't like watching movies. I never watch comedies. And I think it's because I'm always like joking in the day. It's always like then I'm like I just want to watch something serious. I feel like all day I'm joking around,
Mhm.
and it's like I just want to watch the dark depths of humanity in like
Mhm.
Midsommar or Killing of a
Yeah.
Sacred Deer. Like, and my wife comes in, she's like, "What in the fuck are you watching?" Have you ever seen Warrior, the MMA movie with?
No.
Oh my god, I cried. That's not a dark movie, but I have no interest in MMA. Never been a fan, particularly, just not my thing. That movie, I cried 3 different times at. You have
Who's
to see
in
this movie.
it?
It's Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton and Nick
Okay.
Nolte. It's like 8 years ago.
Okay.
The reason why I thought about that is just because I was like, it has nothing to do with my life, but I
Yeah.
loved it so
That's
much.
what's the good stuff to watch.
Yeah.
When you just want to like check out
Yeah, I'm like
and not think about like
anything,
yeah.
nothing about the biz.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well,
Cool.
thank you so much for coming.
See you later.
on.
You got everything you need.
Anything you want to like shout out, promote, give us your social media?
Oh, okay. I'm Mark O'Brien, faux real, on Instagram. Faux.
F-O?
F-O. Yeah. No good.
No, that's
Oh.
fine.
Someone else wrote it. It wasn't me. I hate when
No,
people
that's
say
fine.
that. It's like, do you have social media? They're
Faux
like,
real.
I have people who do that for me. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
how hard is it to post a picture once in a
Yeah,
while
it's
or
fun.
send a tweet? Anyway, yeah, that's that. Ready or Not, it's great. City on a Hill on Showtime. You can get it on the app. You can watch it on Sundays at 9 p.m. It's a great show. I'm very proud of it. Peace and love. Keep it real.